Welcome to Kinesiology 120 and 121, Concepts of Wellness. I'm Dr. Beasley, the designer of this course, and this presentation is to provide you with a general overview of this week's module. Now, before you jump right in, because I know you're eager to get started, just take a moment and familiarize yourself with the course layout and the design. For the most part, everything's going to remain pretty much consistent. The introductory video is there to give you an idea of what to expect from this Concepts of Wellness course, and after you view that, you can then begin by selecting the Getting Started link, which is going to provide some helpful information about the course. The course flow simply informs you that the class is broken up into 6 different weekly modules, and I'll typically open a new module every Monday morning, and then you'll have until Sunday to submit most of your work. I say most because the exception is the threaded discussions. For the threaded discussions, your initial post or submission is due on Tuesday of the week, and a response to 2 of your classmates is due by Thursday of that week. And an important note to remember is that late threaded discussions are not accepted. For other assignments, there's a 25% late point penalty applied each day an assignment is late, but this does not apply to the threaded discussions. If a threaded discussion is late, no credit is provided, so keep that in mind. You'll then see some helpful information on the textbook for the course and then Getting Started, which begins with the syllabus. Another important area to be aware of is the assignment guidelines link. Here you can find all of the instructions, guidelines, and rubrics for the general course assignments. So you can take a look at this at your own leisure, take a look at the assignments before they're actually due, before I make them available during the weekly modules, and feel free to begin working on them early. For you overachievers and for those of you who like to plan ahead, this is something that's going to be helpful when planning and organizing because some assignments will take longer than others, so it's important to spend a little bit of time each day working on those assignments. Now back on the home page, you have some additional links. Be sure to access the syllabus and read through it completely. You are responsible for knowing all of the course expectations that are listed in the syllabus. And then the news and announcements link is there because I'll periodically post announcements and course updates, which you are also responsible for reading. And there's another important reason to check the Moodle site regularly because if you miss something, you're still held accountable and responsible for knowing that information. So be sure you are consistently checking the Moodle site. The course progress link is a helpful tool that's just there to help you track your progress in completing the assignments. And this is just a little something to keep you accountable and on track throughout the class. If you have any general course related questions, feel free to use the Q&A form. Everyone in the class can view a question posted there and everyone can respond to a question. I'll typically respond within 24 hours of a question being posted, but if you're online, you see someone has a question there and you know the answer, feel free to respond to it. The first assignment that you want to get done is the Getting to Know You form. When you respond, be sure you respond to the guiding questions or the prompts completely and thoroughly. This is just to get an idea of who you are. Introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you, and then you have a chance to welcome your classmates. Be sure to respond again using complete sentence. Always think collegiate level work when responding, especially in the discussion forms. As you move down the page a bit, you'll see the first weekly module, and this is how each weekly module is going to be set up so you'll have consistency throughout the course. You'll see all of the assignment links for the week, and within each link, there's a lot more information about the assignment. So be sure you click that, you read through the contents, and familiarize yourself with the expectations. You'll also use those links to post your completed assignments and your form responses. The first place you want to begin each week is with the week overview. Here you'll see some guidelines, some helpful information to get started and expectations for the week. The learning expectations give you an idea of the content that's going to be covered during that week, and these are basically objectives that we want to accomplish. In the online setting, you have a major role in the education you receive, so meeting the learning expectations is going to be heavily dependent upon how engaged you are with the course content. Be sure to read the required readings each week completely. Sometimes I'll just have a listing of what they are, and sometimes there'll be an actual link for you to access the material. The required readings are a major component of learning within the class, so it's important that you complete those. The tests are developed from the required readings as well as the lecture material, so do not neglect those. Next, I'll have a listing of some videos or other media for you to view and read. And you can complete these in any order, but it's important to view them in their entirety because the information will relate to the course content. It's going to help you understand certain expectations, review lecture material, and also provide some information that's going to contribute to your success in this class. The assignments for the week are listed to remind you of what needs to be submitted, so be sure you are aware of those. And now that you have a pretty good idea of how the weekly module is going to be organized, let's take a look at some of the assignments for the week. The threaded discussions are designed to mimic the face-to-face discussions that take place in a classroom setting, and oftentimes there's a lot of learning that takes place during these discussions, so don't take them for granted. There could be a video, it could be an article, a web page, or some other content for you to read, and then there will always be some type of prompt for you to respond to, just a way of demonstrating how to apply or connect that information to learning. And when responding in the threaded discussions, once again, think collegiate level responses. Be complete, be comprehensive in your initial response, provide a thorough, reflective response to the prompt provided. Try not to leave any questions unanswered. And then you'll need to respond to 2 of your classmates, and avoid the simple and basic "I agree with what you said" type responses. Consider their point of view, consider the content of what was written, and address or respond to the main point being made. Make it a conversation. Build on what was said. Add your voice to the discussion. And remember to adhere to the guidelines of etiquette when responding to classmates. Always address the content and not the person. And this is included in the syllabus, but I've also provided a link to the threaded discussion rubric, as well as the online etiquette issues within threaded discussion responses. For your lab assignments, there will always be written guidelines, expectations, and a rubric to follow. I'll also have some information on lab writing expectations within the weekly videos, but I've tried to make these guidelines as clear as possible. Always review the rubric and always follow APA formatting guidelines when completing your lab assignments. Remember to view and follow the formatting expectations that are reviewed in the Formatting Your Documents video. If your papers are not formatted correctly, I'll know that you did not watch that video, so don't lose unnecessary points for your assignments because of this. Read through the lab guidelines completely, and if you still have any questions, please feel free to reach out and ask. I'm here to help you out. Your first glossary is also due in week 1. The purpose of the glossary is really to develop a listing of tools and resources that you have at your disposal, something to consistently refer to throughout the course and have access to. This should increase your access to information on health and wellness related issues and concerns. And you'll just follow the directions provided and post your information within the form. I do have an example there, which, by the way, I was hesitant on including because I know sometimes examples are helpful for students, but the downside of that is students typically mimic the example exactly how it is presented with no thought, no creativity, and very minimal effort in responding. But the example is there just to give you an idea of the assignment. It's not meant to be a complete, full, thorough substitute for all the assignment expectations. And when completing your glossary, be sure to include your full name after your entry. The glossary is a working document that everyone contributes to, so unless you include your name, I won't know who submitted the entry, which means I can't give you credit. Each week you'll have what I call faith connections. And this is a form that's designed to incorporate the faith-based understanding, encourage you to apply a biblical view to personal and professional responsibilities, and just to encourage you throughout the week. As you know, FPU is an evangelical institution, and you will be exposed to the gospel in a variety of ways, and the Faith Connections is just one of those ways we do that. Each week you'll have a test that covers material in the weekly module, and now while the tests are primarily developed from the required reading, some of the supplementary video and lecture material will also be included. The tests are timed, and you are only given one opportunity to complete the test. So when you begin the test, make sure you have a reliable Wi-Fi connection. If you go to your local coffee shop or restaurant, the Wi-Fi may not be too reliable, and if you get disconnected during the test, Moodle will give you a 0. Also, make sure you've set aside some uninterrupted time to complete the test. You can't begin the test and then go run a few errands and run back later to finish the test at some later time. Once your time is up, the test will close. On another note, Moodle does do a great job tracking all keystrokes, so I will know when you've logged in, I'll know when you've attempted the test, so if there's ever a problem, you need to let me know as soon as possible, because I can then go into Moodle, check the activity log, investigate what the problem is, and hopefully be able to rectify and resolve it from there. Also, be sure to look ahead at the upcoming assignments. Some assignments are going to take longer than others, so it's in your best interest to spend some time daily working on those assignments. Follow the course calendar included in the syllabus so you know what's coming up. See what assignments are due next week, how much time you think you should be spending on the assignments. This is going to help because you don't want to be surprised at the end of a week when you open up an assignment and you realize it's going to take you quite a bit of time to complete it. And that's pretty much how each weekly module is going to be set up. Remember, if there's something confusing or if you need further clarification, please do not hesitate to contact me. That's what I'm here for. I want to answer your questions. I want you to be successful during this course, and I want you to have a great learning experience. Take care for now, and I will see you online.